Another reporter in Spain received some serious backlash when a partially naked woman walks across the background who turns out to be another reporter and not his wife. Whoops. And of course, our work from home coworker of the year has to be our favorite furry friends who seem to love their time in the spotlight. And they definitely don't understand personal space.
Since I've seen her, hi, this is my cat. That is the perks of working from home.
And here you can see my very own Luna and Leo deciding to meow their way through one of my RT America live shots, and that's been the last at home segment for me. Whether it's trying to recreate a dance,
Coronavirus!
making your kids wait to eat their favorite sweet treats,
But you gotta wait.
or switching clothes with your partner, internet challenges have kept America busy from boredom during quarantine. But one new challenge is getting a big warning from women across the internet, as it's being twisted by men to gawk at naked women. The Silhouette Challenge on TikTok shows women walking down or dancing through a hallway, then switching to a red light filter. The challenge encourages women to wear lingerie or be completely naked. Of course, the internet ruins everything by turning it creepy. Now there are videos on YouTube instructing how to edit the video's contrast and color to reveal the women's bodies. In addition to the number of lousy things to come out of the coronavirus pandemic, America suffered a coin shortage. 3 major factors contributed to this, and it could happen again as more lockdowns are being put in place. Banks, grocery stores, and convenience stores would not give cash back or rolls of coins due to the shortage, creating a problem for those who need coins to do something as simple as a load of laundry. Half of all, the Federal Reserve actually created the U.S. Coin Task Force to help get coins back into circulation. Pop star Harry Styles made a controversial appearance on the cover of Vogue back in December, where he dressed up in a gown. Some found the article to signify the death of modern-day rugged masculinity. Most notably, conservative author Candace Owens spoke out against the piece, saying there is no society that can survive without strong men. The East knows this. Bring back manly men. Harry Styles' mother responded to the criticism and his appearance on the Vogue cover.
I think maybe I had something to do with it because I was always a big fan of doing fancy dress with them when they were smaller. But, you know, who doesn't love playing dress up?
This sparked the conversation of what makes manly men. Many celebrities jumped to Styles' defense, including his current girlfriend, actor, director, and writer Olivia Wilde. Her response to Candace Owens was short and sweet. In the same Vogue article, Wilde is quoted saying, "This brand of confidence as a male that Harry has, truly devoid of any traces of toxic masculinity, is indicative of his generation and therefore the future of the world." But in the States, high school sports are becoming a battleground between boys and girls. 2 transgenders competing in girls' track and field dominated in high school meets and broke female records across the board. As Hollywood and schools try to find a place for representation of all these new identities, the woke culture is firing back at anything they see as a misstep. However, the hypocrisy of it all is saddening. What if, as we are free in the idea of masculinity, we are losing our female identity and taking away the chance for women to thrive and succeed? How much is an hour of your time worth? Is your time more or less valuable than someone with more money than you? And can this impact the neighborhoods you live in or how the government allocates money? One rideshare company put this question to the test. Time is money. How much money? Well, apparently $19.38. There were some variants. People were, of course, more likely to want quicker pickups heading to or from airports during inclement weather. Places with higher wages like New York and San Francisco, or places with the option for public transit, tended to tip the scale as well. Some efficient policies benefit the poor more than the rich. For instance, public transit. Lower income workers may depend on public transit to go to and from work, while the rich have cars and drive themselves. Some policies benefit both rich and poor. Both groups rely on the roads, whether a bus takes them there or they drive their own car. Any homebuyer searching the market right now is familiar with the same scenario. A home is listed for sale on a Monday. The viewing is scheduled for a Saturday. But by Thursday, it's been sold sight unseen, 50 grand over asking price. It can feel rather defeating. In fact, home prices in major cities and suburbs have increased all through the pandemic. Meanwhile, rental prices are dropping by hundreds of dollars a month. The coronavirus pandemic has created a unique K-shaped economy, and The millennial generation is taking advantage of low interest rates to buy their first home. Generation Z is moving back home, and baby boomers are living longer but also are more at risk for getting coronavirus. They are not downsizing because they are reluctant to move into a nursing home at this point, and many are now becoming multi-generational families under one roof. And like everything else in this pandemic, the wealthiest of all of us are benefiting the most by getting a cheaper rate for their new vacation homes. The rent in America's most expensive cities to drop by double percentage points as people make their mass exodus. This means a one-bedroom apartment in Washington, D.C. going for $1,700 in March of 2020 pre-pandemic would now go for more than $200 less. Living in a city is now starting to return to normal, creating a whole new group suffering from buyer's remorse as the city dweller at heart is waking up in their suburban home and realizing they hate it. Even though recent reports show we're seeing more inventory come on the market, spring is usually the busiest time for home sales, so don't expect to see the housing market cool off anytime soon. The Census Bureau has released their 2020 count of the population in the U.S. But what does this mean, and how will it possibly change the future of voting? The count is in. According to this year's census, the population in the United States is now more than 331 million, which is an increase in 7.4%. However, this is actually down over 2% from last decade's count. Since 2010, Texas has gained nearly 4 million residents, more than any other state in sheer numbers. For some perspective, that's roughly the entire population of Oklahoma. But why is this important? The census determines how many seats each state can hold in the House of Representatives. There are only 435 seats, so when a state gains a seat, another will have to lose a seat. The population count is affecting 13 states. If a state loses a House seat, it could also mean a dip in federal funding. This means less money for highways, schools, federally funded healthcare, and a wide array of social services based on population. And other states were not held constant. The Census Bureau shows huge increases in population in states across the U.S. by much higher percentages than New York. After many years of passing up contentious gun control-related cases, the first major Second Amendment case is about to land in the conservative majority court for the average citizen to conceal carry. California, Florida, Illinois, and D.C. do not allow people to openly carry firearms in public. New York and South Carolina have banned openly carrying handguns, but not long guns. Massachusetts, Minnesota, and New Jersey do the opposite. Those states prohibit openly carrying long guns, but not handguns. The rest of the states allow people to openly carry. However, some states will require a permit or license, relative or specious need for self-defense. For instance, a storekeeper would be allowed to keep a gun in their store for protection, or a bank messenger could carry a gun to protect themselves and the money they transport. Or a person could get a special license for target practice and hunting. But living in a high-crime area or wanting a gun because you think it will be useful in a dangerous situation does not meet the requirements as brought by the courts by Nash and Koch. This comes at a time when the industry is experiencing a number of record of gun sales, mostly first-time buyers, and a string of deadly mass shootings have occurred across the country. One side of the argument believes more gun control will stop these tragedies from happening. The other believes this gives citizens a chance to protect themselves as the occurrence of mass shootings is surging. The belief is people who want to break the law will find a way to get a gun, and Americans deserve the right to protect themselves.